unfortunately emblematic of how our politics is being conducted today.
Where's Erica?
Right here.
Just so your name is
No one will ever replace my husband. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church?
Something deeply unsettling is happening behind closed doors at Turning Point USA, and the cracks are finally starting to show. While most organizations would be demanding answers, pushing for transparency, and fighting for justice after their founder's violent death, TPUSA seems to be doing the exact opposite. They're moving forward, business as usual, promoting new leadership and talking about exciting opportunities, and the one person who should be demanding the truth more than anyone? Well, her behavior has people questioning everything they thought they knew about what happened on September 10th. Candace Owens has had enough of staying silent. She's now publicly calling out Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow, and dropping receipts that are making a lot of people extremely uncomfortable, because when you actually look at how Erika has been acting since her husband's death, when you examine the strange behavior of TPUSA's inner circle, and when you connect the dots between multiple suspicious connections, a disturbing pattern starts to emerge. Let's start with what Candace is saying about Erika's reaction to losing her husband. Candace revealed that she's been receiving an unbelievable number of emails from people who are convinced Charlie is still alive. Now, before dismissing these people as conspiracy theorists, listen to why they believe this. They're reacting to something Candace herself finds disturbing: the complete lack of emotion and the total absence of any drive coming from Erika and Turning Point USA to figure out who actually killed him. Think about that for a moment. The widow of a man who was allegedly murdered in broad daylight seems more interested in promoting the organization's future than demanding answers about her husband's death. Within weeks of Charlie's death, Erika transitioned from grieving widow to chairman and CEO of Turning Point USA. She's been giving interviews talking about how blessed they are to have more work than they could ever dream of, and reassuring everyone that TPUSA is continuing stronger than ever. Candace finds this timeline deeply troubling. She says if she were in charge, she would have advised putting an interim CEO in place, someone below the COO level, to allow Erika time to grieve and allow the organization to figure things out properly. Instead, Erika went straight from widow to girl boss CEO, and that decision is raising serious questions about what's really going on behind the scenes. But here's where things get really interesting. Erika recently appeared on Jesse Waters' show, and during that interview, she said something that made Candace's alarm bells go off when asked about cameras being banned from the courtroom. Erika responded with an emotional statement about transparency, about letting everyone see what true evil is. She claims she's seen what the case is built on and thinks it's solid. She's essentially saying she accepts the official FBI narrative about what happened to Charlie. Candace finds this extremely suspicious. Why? Because there are massive holes in the official story, and anyone paying attention can see them.
I do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, I forgive him.
Spoke out against the violence and urged Americans to come together. Take a look.
Because you helped me feel even more deeply connected to my husband. And I thank you for that.
The movement he created is bigger than ever.
The timeline doesn't make sense. The evidence doesn't add up. Key details keep changing or disappearing entirely. And yet Erika, the person who should be demanding the most thorough investigation possible, seems perfectly content with accepting whatever story she's been told. Candace is hinting at something darker, that maybe Erika isn't pushing for transparency because real transparency might expose TPUSA's alleged role in the events of September 10th. People don't believe the official story, and they have good reasons not to. They don't like what they've seen about Mikey McCoy. They don't like what they've seen about Rob McCoy. They don't like the video evidence that contradicts the official timeline. They don't believe when text messages were supposedly sent or when phone calls allegedly took place. And in the areas where TPUSA could be transparent, where they could control the narrative and show everyone what really happened, they're choosing silence instead. Candace believes that without transparency, Turning Point USA isn't going to survive this crisis. So let's talk about Mikey McCoy, because his behavior on September 10th is genuinely disturbing. Mikey is TPUSA's chief of staff, the man Erika specifically praised as amazing in her first public appearance after Charlie's death. On that fateful day, Mikey was standing directly behind Charlie when the shooting happened. Now, watch his reaction carefully. When Charlie is hit, Mikey barely even flinches. There's no ducking, no immediate panic, no instinctual reaction that you would expect when someone just feet in front of you gets shot. Instead, Mikey calmly puts a phone to his ear and walks away. He doesn't stay to check if Charlie is okay. He doesn't try to help. He just walks away while talking on the phone.
Attitude to everything. He was clearly so excited to be there. And
we don't all align with his views. What I deeply aligned with was he said, when we stop talking, that's when things get bad.
You guys have no idea how helpful it is to have all of you in my life.
This is detestable what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are.
Our hearts, of course, go out to the family of Charlie Kirk.
Here's where it gets weirder. Mikey's father, Pastor Rob McCoy, later claimed that Mikey called him immediately and said Charlie had been shot in the neck. Pastor McCoy described Mikey as having blood all over him, painting a picture of his son being right in the middle of the chaos, covered in evidence of the tragedy. But here's the problem. Everyone can watch the footage. There's no blood on Mikey. He's clean. He walked away calmly. So why would Pastor McCoy lie about something so easily verifiable? What purpose does that false detail serve? And now Erica claims she was the one on the phone with Mikey right after Charlie was shot. So we're supposed to believe that mere seconds after her husband was shot, Mikey called her while calmly walking away from the scene? The timeline and the behavior just don't match what you'd expect in a genuine crisis situation. But Mikey and his pastor father aren't the only TPUSA insiders that Candace is calling out. She's also exposing Tyler Boyer, the chief operating officer of Turning Point USA. According to information Candace received from an insider, Tyler was allegedly hooking up with young male interns at TPUSA. Multiple people apparently know about this behavior, yet Tyler remains in his position, actually placing people into positions of power throughout the organization. One source told Candace they approached Charlie multiple times about embezzlement issues and Tyler's inappropriate relationships with young male workers, and they even had proof, but nothing was ever done about it. Now here's where the connections get even more disturbing. Candace also revealed that Tyler Boyer allegedly has ties to an orphanage in Ukraine. Let that sink in for a moment. We already know from previous investigations that Erica had connections to Romanian Angels, a sketchy charity involving orphanages in Romania. Now we're finding out that another key TPUSA figure also has orphanage connections, but this time in Ukraine. Could these connections be related? Are we looking at something much bigger than just one organization's internal drama? Remember, Tyler Boyer was allegedly the person who set up the initial meeting between Charlie and Erica. Was he acting as some kind of handler? Was this entire relationship orchestrated from the beginning? Could Tyler and Erica be connected through their orphanage work in Eastern Europe? Yes, this is speculation, but when you see the same patterns emerging around multiple key players, you can't just dismiss it as coincidence. Texas delegate Tricia Hope recently shared a revealing interaction she had with Tyler Boyer. After Tricia made a comment suggesting Charlie's death was suspicious, Tyler reached out to her. Clearly bothered by her statement, Tricia told Tyler that TPUSA should release an official statement addressing the basic facts of Charlie's case. Simple questions that deserve answers. Was there an autopsy? Was the bullet recovered? What were the actual forensic findings? These aren't wild conspiracy theories. These are legitimate questions about a high-profile death that happened in public. Tyler's response to Tricia was dismissive and telling. He said he can't chase all that made-up stuff.
I don't even know how to start this because it's just beyond devastating.
His wife, Erica, just staged her great American comeback, picking up right where Charlie left off.
I could have never forgiven Tyler Robinson for whatever part he played in this. Don't believe that he was the lone person involved. I don't even think he's the person that killed Charlie Kirk.
But what exactly is made up here? Tricia is asking for basic forensic information that should be publicly available in any legitimate investigation. We still don't know if there was a proper autopsy. We don't know what happened to the bullets that allegedly had words engraved on them. In fact, most people now believe the FBI fabricated that detail entirely because once people started pointing out that multiple words can't physically fit on a bullet, the detail quietly disappeared from official statements. This is what Candace finds most disturbing about the entire situation. The people who should be demanding answers, who should be pushing for transparency and fighting for justice, seem more bothered by the fact that people are asking questions than by the questions themselves. Erika and TPUSA aren't showing interest in getting answers. They're showing interest in shutting down anyone who won't accept the official narrative and move on. And now they're apparently threatening Candace with a lawsuit. They're trying to put her under a gag order. Some people close to TPUSA are even pushing a narrative that Candace has postpartum psychosis, attempting to paint her as mentally unstable rather than address the legitimate concerns she's raising. It's a classic intimidation tactic. Attack the credibility of the person asking questions rather than provide answers to the questions. But Candace isn't backing down. She's doubling down on her investigation and publicly stating that she gave Erika the benefit of the doubt for as long as she could. But watching Erika run around promoting TPUSA's new leadership structure instead of demanding justice for her husband was too much. Candace is now calling Erika out for behavior that simply doesn't match what you'd expect from someone who just lost their spouse to violence. So ask yourself this: who's really acting crazy here? Is it Candace for refusing to accept a story full of holes and demanding transparency about her friend's death? Or is it an organization that lost its founder to violence and seems more interested in brand management than in finding out what really happened? The message from TPUSA leadership seems to be, just move on, keep donating. This is what Charlie would have wanted. This is his legacy. But is covering up the truth really the legacy Charlie would have wanted? The courage to demand answers when powerful organizations want silence is hope in action. And right now, Candace Owens might be the only person willing to show that courage, even if it costs her professionally, even if it makes her a target, and even if it means standing alone against an organization and its allies who desperately want everyone to stop asking questions. That's it for today, folks. See you in the next video.